Speaking of timing, Sam, that you mentioned earlier, the Cleveland Indians will be no more at the end of this season. They will be changing their name to the Cleveland Guardians, new baseball name for their name for their baseball team, as instituted by brother of James Dolan, Paul Dolan. So a Dolan running a sports franchise is a Knicks fan, and Quiggs knows this very well too. Anything is possible with a Dolan in charge. Okay, that's the first thing, but they changed their name to the Cleveland Guardians. Alex Wool's going to throw up the graphic of their new logo. It's honestly like the name is a little cringe. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I personally thought there were better choices, but the branding makes up for it. I honestly think it's very cool. It's modern, sleek, a little bit handsome in a way. I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. I think the branding's not bad. The name is a little, it's not that great.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think I'm with you on that. The name is but the thing is, there's a couple things about changing your name. First of all, the people that get mad about it or say it's stupid, half of them aren't fans of the baseball team. So it's like, why are you upset? It's like you're not even rooting for this team. If anyone should be upset, if they think, if they don't like the Guardians as the name of choice, it should be the fans of the Cleveland baseball team, but that's not how it's been. So that's interesting. Second of all, when there's a new team name, it always takes a little while to get used to. So I think the Guardians sounds a little weird when you first hear it, but the more you hear it, even today, compared to hearing it when the news first came out, it sounds a little bit more fitting. And I think you're right. The one thing I will say is the logo makes up for it big time. I think the logos are pretty cool. It works well with Cleveland. It works well with their colors. So for me, I think it's a good move. I think the name needed to be changed, and here's an interesting name that I think will grow on us. And the logos, I think, certainly make up for it.
Yeah, Sam, honestly, you just made one of the most obvious points that I had never really thought of. With the why do you care? It's not your team.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent the past NFL season, I heard from so many Giants fans and Eagles fans, they were like, oh my God, the Washington football team, what a terrible name. Wait, why do you care? It's the other team. It's great if they have a terrible name. Make fun of them for that. They're your rival. Why are you mad? So that's funny. But now to contrast that point, I was really hoping that they would go with the Cleveland Spiders, because I feel like that's just a cool name.
Spiders. But why does that have any geographical relevance to Cleveland?
I don't
not like the Guardians does, but
yeah. So I mean, back in the late 1800s, the turn of the 20th century, the National League team in Cleveland was the Cleveland Spiders.
Oh, okay.
So there's a historical factor there. But I don't know. It's a weird mascot, and you only really think of University of Richmond when it comes to spiders. But yeah. I think this is one of the names, the Guardians, that is just going to grow on me over time. Obviously, going in, the name options that were considered were the Spiders, the Cleveland Rockers, which was the name of a former Cleveland WNBA team. But that one got nixed because of its similarity to the Rockies. That would just have been ultimately confusing to have a team called the Rockies and the Rockers.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Glad that they avoided that. And with the Guardians, I think it was just the easiest way to keep the color scheme. You keep the DIANS at the end of Indians, Guardians. It's not that hard to change on the with the word mark or on the jerseys. They changed from a block C to a block G, which is another pretty simplistic change. And I guess they only had to take the Guardians from the XFL team. This was really the only other pro sports team with the Guardians, and they've only played one season. They didn't play last season, so I think that it's an all right name. It'll grow on me over time. I like how it has a nod to the Guardians of Traffic statues in the Hope Memorial Bridge in Cleveland, right next to Progressive Field. And they said, I was reading an article about it, and when they were trying to get fans' opinions on what they should name the team, they asked, they kind of polled the fans and asked what words really are evoked when they think of Cleveland. And some of them were things like loyalty, pride, and resilience. And they equated that to Cleveland fans just being really protective of their city. So Guardians worked there too. And yeah, I like how they kept the logo, the color scheme, the word mark, and it preserves the 100+ year history as well as they could have, while also not using any of the Native American or American Indian insignia that they've used for the past 100 years. So I think they did a pretty good job, a better job than the Washington football team did.
I thought that the proper name change should have been the Cleveland Guardians because LeBron James makes La Land happen, and he's the only reason that Cleveland is relevant in modern sports. That's a discussion for another day. Regardless,
that's definitely not a discussion for a short headline, especially on the name change. Not quite a discussion.
LeBron James made that city, but anyway. They changed their name. I like you guys said, the branding definitely makes up for it. I agree with Quiggs though. Spiders definitely works because of there's a little bit more history behind it. But Guardians, if that's how it describes the city of Cleveland, all joking aside, I think it's a good name. You know, I think like you guys said,
think about the spiders too. That would get hated on also. Like if the spiders been introduced, people would be like, "What is that?"
It would be a meme either way, but it's a little more, I guess, enticing for them to get more traffic, I guess, going their way on Twitter if they really want to think about that. But regardless, like the football team, I think the Washington football team, that's just such a cool name. They should keep that, but it's going to grow. It'll definitely grow on us at some point.